Welcome back to the More For Me and You podcast. And on today's episode, we welcome stand-up comedian Jen Kober. And we get a chance to talk, well, not really talk, we bitch over biscuits. And then later, we discuss a film that she chose that's playing for free on Momi2, The Private Eye starring Matt Rife. This was a really fun episode, so let's get into it.
Yeah, that's right. You're tuning in to the More For Me and You podcast. That's real interviews, real movie reviews, real people, real journeys. If you real, lock in. I've been working all night, early in the morning. If you hustle high, hustle, you can never waste a moment. That's more for me and you. 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 Let's go.
It's been so long, though, since we've seen each other in person.
I know. It seems like eons.
August of 22.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's coming up on 3 years.
Wow, dude.
Isn't that wild?
See?
You got to perform
Yeah.
at our opening party.
Yeah, it was the launch.
It was the launch.
It was the launch. It was so fun. Your mom was all over me. God, I love that woman.
Yep.
And the what was so great about, I mean, I watched the launch. Like I got on the app and went and watched things. And then today went back and started watching. And I was like, oh my God, look how it's grown.
Yeah.
Dude, in 3 years, you've got like a lot of content on there.
Thank you.
I was like, look at him go.
Well, it's not me. It's a whole team.
Well, I'm right. I like to give you all the credit. You know,
Appreciate it.
You're the to me, it's all you, Brian. To me, it's no one else.
Not all me.
It's you and Cliff. That's it.
Yeah, I think we. You mean Craig?
Craig. See,
it's okay.
I was giving you the wrong C name.
I was like, wait a second. Is there a Cliff that's ever worked for Momi2?
Craig,
like, we got a Charles,
Cliff, Kevin, Keith. I might call you 6 other things, Calvin. So just stand by.
I love it.
Stand by.
But yeah, it's been a while, and we've grown a bit. But you've also grown a bit too as a comedian. Just the other day, I was at CES, a couple months ago.
Right.
I was at CES, and I'm getting my badge. I'm on the phone call, and then get in line to check in. And I look up and I just see Jen Kober's face at the MGM. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm
the last time we talked, you were about to leave for like an LGBTQ cruise.
Yes, I was going to, which I didn't get on because I tested positive for COVID. They wouldn't let me on the boat. So I'm like, thank God I made money last night. Because they wouldn't let me on the boat.
That's wild.
Because I tested positive.
And we purposely gave you a Momi2 t-shirt with a rainbow in the stars so you could take it on the cruise and wear it there.
I still have that t-shirt. That is one of my favorite sleeping shirts ever because I wear it so much that it gets washed a lot.
Yeah.
So it's nice and soft. And like, it's all comfy and cozy and
you're not the first person that's told us that they use it as a sleepy t-shirt, PJs.
You did well. You didn't get
Thank you.
Sometimes when folks get the t-shirts, the promotional t-shirts, they're thin. They're the like see-through ones, right? Where you're like, I can't wear this out. My nipples show. But this is a good.
I hate when that happens.
I hate when that happens too. Yeah, even through a black shirt, you're like, I could still see my own nipples. Why is this? So it's a very comfy shirt. I'm very happy to always have it with. I'd take it with me on trips. It's my sleepy shirt. Like
I love
my sleepy shirt. So.
Well, I know that at least an audience of one gets to see what Momi2's about. That's awesome.
My wife loves it.
Thanks for sharing it with the world.
She's a big, big fan. I have worn it out a couple of times.
Well, I also saw a recent video on social media where you weren't wearing a shirt.
Oh, yeah. I like to do that, too. It pushes me up in the algorithm.
And you weren't just naked. You were naked.
Naked. See, naked is not wearing clothes. Naked is not wearing clothes and planning to do something.
Okay.
I mean, it was first thing in the morning. Today's my birthday, so
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It was like birthday eve. You get a little lucky birthday eve.
I feel so much more special now that you're joining us on our podcast for your birthday.
I know. Look, I only have so many days when I'm in town, and you were like, here's when we're doing this. And I was like, well, we got to do it on the birthday. We're going to have to take one for the team. Do it up.
Well, I appreciate you wearing clothes for the podcast.
You're very welcome.
Not being naked.
I thought about it. I was like, I almost didn't wear real pants. I was going to wear clothes, but I am a big believer in wearing jammy pants out in public, like normalizing jammies as like a uniform. But the only jammies I have here are flannel. They're like those really thick, fleecy. I think they have the Grinch on them too, which is not the right mood to set for.
Not the right time of year.
No. But so I had to go put. I picked out my best sweatpants for you.
I appreciate that.
These are my good ones.
Your good ones?
Yeah, they don't
Love
have any smear marks of grease or crumbs all over them. These are the good ones.
Thanks for busting out the good stuff for us.
Look, you are my friend, and I.
Right in the feels. Right in the feels. Jen, a lot of people see you on stage.
Yes.
They see who are there. I want to go back a bit, if that's okay.
Sure.
Because I want people to get to know you for you.
Sure.
Right? We hear the jokes and all, it's great. And I love to laugh, and you make me laugh uncontrollably. But I want to know who is Jen? Like, take us back to your childhood. Where did you grow up, first and foremost?
I grew up in Louisiana.
Okay.
In Lake Charles, Louisiana. So I was born in New Orleans, where all the good stuff in Louisiana, the part everybody knows. But then my dad got a job. He's a heart surgeon. And so he started his practice in Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is next to Texas. If Louisiana's a boot, I was born in the toe, but I grew up in the heel.
Okay.
So, it was a small town. I was a big fish in a little pond. I was always funny. I was always talking. I was always out of my desk and just trying to distract others from doing their work. And
I did want to know, like, when did you find out you were funny?
I mean, that was it.
Well, there's two things. It's like, when did you think you were funny and when did you know you were funny? Because that's two different things, right?
Well, but I always knew I was funny. People always laughed. I mean, my grandparents, I would come home, and my grandparents lived in Baton Rouge. So that was a couple of hours away from where we grew up. And to get my grandmother to stay longer when she'd come visit, because she spoiled us, so I wanted her to stay. And to get her to stay longer, I'd be like, I'm in a play. And she'd be like, what play are you in? And I would act out the whole play. I did all the characters. I did all the voices. I was, and they were just rolling laughing. And I did that. And then my mother goes to school and is like telling my teacher, when is this play? Because her grandmother's going to stay to see the play. When does the play start? And the teacher's like, we're not doing a play.
Like,
what are you talking
play?
about? We're not. There's no play. This is public school in Louisiana. There is no arts program here. Your child is making this all up. And so I was very lucky that my parents kind of let me make my mess my message, right? When they figured out I was good at something, they put me into that. So my mother put me into, little theater classes and doing children's theater and stuff when I was a kid. And then in high school, I did speech. I competed in
like
speech.
debating.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I did very well at that. I won nationals a few times. And
Great.
so I was, poised to go do that into college, and then ended up at an acting conservatory in Chicago. And
What college did you go to?
I went to the theater school at DePaul.
DePaul. Shout out to DePaul.
Right.
Yeah.
A little Lincoln Park action. And here I am doing exactly what I always said I was going to do.
It's incredible. I mean, you always knew.
I have no other skills. I really don't. People are like, come on, how did you get into this? I'm like, I promise you, I cannot do anything else. I don't have the focus. I don't have the actual knowledge. I mean, I didn't pay attention in school. I was constantly thinking about what was funny about everything around me. And so I don't believe in science. That's not a thing in Louisiana, right? You know that. So I never got into math. I wasn't good at that. I read books and I made things up. And so now I've figured out how to make money doing just that. And I've been writing scripts and getting some sitcom pilots out there. And I just finished a screenplay with my writing partner. And so, I'm very lucky to have sort of found all the skills that I enjoy and that I can do. And I can make money doing those things. So
Yeah, I mean, you do very well doing stand-up comedy.
I do.
What other things? So you're writing a screenplay.
I just finished my first screenplay. We're about to start a second one. I love to write. I love to perform. I do a lot of storytelling workshops where I help other people sort of tell their stories and get their work out there. And it's a lot of people that have real jobs, right? Lawyers and doctors and teachers and such, but everybody has a story and everybody has something to say and some need to express it on some level. And so it's really fun to take people that aren't necessarily performers and help them craft what they want to say and figure out, where it's funny, even if it's about a serious subject, and how things, work sort of formulaically in storytelling and in performance and stuff. And then to see them get up and they invite all their friends to the show and whatever. And to see them get up and just shine like that in a medium that they're not used to is very rewarding. It's very nice to watch people, get a little spotlight on them and do what they like to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the premise of this podcast. Is the first half of it is doing kind of an interview in a sense, but it's really more so I want my guests to shine. I want to give them an opportunity to be in the hot seat and share about their life and share about their journey, because everyone's got a story to tell.
That's so LA. Tell me about your journey.
It is.
How's your journey? What road are you on?
But the thing is, we always see the end product.
Yes.
Right? You see the end product of what someone's really, really good at, that it's taken them 10, 20, 30 years, even sometimes more to get to.
Yeah.
Right? And
I think once the ball starts rolling, sometimes it looks like, oh, where did this person come from? How did I not know about them until now?
Yeah.
And you feel like they were like an overnight success when actually, I've been doing this for 30 years and
100%.
That's why I'm good at it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, later on, we're going to talk a little bit about another comedian. But it took a while for him to get his start too. And it's not an overnight thing. It's going to take time for people to get to where they are.
It does.
Some longer than others.
Yes.
Some of them just have rock hard abs and a pretty smile, and things just happen quicker than others. But
yes,
some comedians, I remember there was a comedian piano player on like America's Got Talent, and he was, playing the song, and he got the whole entire crowd going, cause he talked about his penis. And he did the way he said it. He's like, da 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 da, my penis, and like, so it's so funny. But like, the guy was for sure retired. I don't know how old exactly he was. Probably in his 80s, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he's shining.
I love when old people make me laugh. That is the hardest laughing I do, because it comes from such an authentic place, and they have lived it, and so.
Well, they also don't care.
They sure don't.
They don't care what you think.
Yeah.
They don't care if they get canceled, because they don't even feel like
they don't even know what that is. They don't even know what that is.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So what else is going on? What else you got a screenplay going on? You have a bunch of I have so many shows marked on my calendar.
Yes.
To just make sure like what you're doing, and
there's a lot of live dates, which I love. I'm doing a lot more international dates now. That, being out of the country seems like the thing for gay people to do. So I now have a lot of,
it's timely.
I have a lot of international dates. I just hooked up with a booker in Poland and Czechoslovakia, so I'm going to go do some dates over that way. I got some dates coming up in Barcelona and England and Amsterdam and
Barcelona.
I cannot wait to eat your paella. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to that, to sort of seeing how my hick sensibilities translate into, with European audiences. I'm so looking forward to that. I love being immersed in other cultures, right? In places where if I just looked around, I would be completely lost. I love that. And I'm excited to take it on the road. And
so what, like when you're planning each set, obviously you have a pretty much a planned set, right? That you're working on at the time. There's things change a little bit, but
yes.
How do you adapt for like each, even just in America, you see like each city? Is it just openers and closers? Or do you do some crowd work a little bit?
It kind of depends on what the gig is. If I'm playing at a performing arts center, those gigs generally want me to be what they call TV clean. So, not a lot of bad words. The crowd tends to be older, right? They're ticket holders, subscribers for their season. And so, you're talking about a crowd that is 60 plus years old, because these tickets were, $450 a piece. So it's not like a bunch of young kids are there. I also do a lot of colleges. I also do casino shows. I also do Cirque du Soleil shows, So sort of depending on the length of time I have them for, and then who that crowd is. Are they older? Are they younger? Are they going to, I have a lot of material that's about pop culture stuff. A crowd of 60 plus isn't necessarily going to get that on the same way a younger college crowd would. And so do I choose to do that material and just explain it to them and sort of go through it? And that ends up being what's funny about it, is that they don't know what I'm talking about. And so I have to like break it all down and be like, there are people that sit at home and create cat video. You have to like explain it to them.
I love
stuff.
that. I love that bit.
That ends up being super fun, actually. And so, you have to know who you're speaking to, what sort of the context of that is. Other times it's late night shows at a sports bar, and I'm like, I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to say, and this is how it's going to go down. And
Jen Cooper, unfiltered.
That's right. The raw show, the bareback.
That's when you go from Jen Cooper to Jen Cooper.
Jen Cooper.
Put the 2 dots over the O.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun, and I like having to sort of change up what I'm doing, right? There are a lot of comedians that are of that mindset of like, when a venue says, we need you to be on the cleaner side, or we need you to sort of curtail, I've done colleges where they're like, we don't want you to say anything about safe sex. We don't want you to say anything about drugs. We don't want you to say any bad words. I'm like,
why am I coming?
What would you, are we, we need you to be PG-13. Will there be 13-year-olds here? I don't understand what we're doing,
Yeah.
But instead of sort of coming at it from the, they're trying to, pigeonhole me, or they're trying to, censor me. Instead of coming at it from that sort of a place, I like to think, okay, these are the parameters in which I can work. What can I get away with doing with these rules in place? And I make it fun for myself that way, and hopefully give a show that those specific people will enjoy. And that's part of the game. And it's perfectly fine with me. Like, I get it. Yeah, I want the most people to see what I'm doing. And to do that, sometimes you have to adjust what it is you're doing, So
who's your favorite type of audience?
I mean, I do like some old people. I really do, because I have a lot of stories about my Nana, and I like to sort of see what I can get away with saying to them, and like and I'm always surprised at what they get and what they laugh at, because even though they're older, they do like a little bit of naughtiness. Like they do like a little raunch in there, but you can't go too far, right? There's things they don't. I could talk about sex all night long and they would laugh. But then I say the F word one time and you can hear their asses clench up. Like you can hear it happen in the room. And I'm like, ooh, okay, let me stay away from the bad words and sort of steer it in this sort of funnier way of speaking in double entendres and letting them know, winking and nudging at them and sort of mouthing bad words instead of, coming out and saying things. And so it's always very funny to me, the different sensibilities between generations. I also love a good gay boy crowd. I mean, for God's sake, nobody is going to get what you're saying more than a crowd full of gay men, because they watch all the TV, they see all the news, they do all the things, they're out and about. Most of them have double income and no kids. And so they get out into the world and they see stuff and they do stuff. And so
the dinks,
the dinks, and they're very fun. Sometimes the lesbians can be fun. Lesbians like to complain a lot. So sometimes I'm like, are they going to find this offensive, or are they going to get that I'm making fun of us? You know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, I feel like I have successful shows. Every once in a while, I'm like, and I feel like I've done it long enough that when I feel where I'm going is the wrong direction, I can be like, okay, you don't like that. Let me pivot. Let me move on. Let's go over here. Let's talk about this. And,
let's go to this side of the room.
Move. Yeah. Move on to a different subject matter and not worry about what I said that they didn't like, and try to find something that they will like. And so I'm lucky to have a lot of material. I'm lucky to be able to think very quickly on my feet. I have a lot of improv training. And so there's nothing that's going to happen that I'm not going to be prepared with something, not even prepared, but not able to say something funny. I can make everything funny, I feel like.
Yeah. How many years have you been doing stand-up for now?
I started when I was 16.
Love it.
And it's my birthday, and I'm not 16
so like
anymore.
5, 6 years old. It's
Exactly.
awesome. You're just overnight success. I only asked that question to, over the time that you've been a stand-up comedian, what was your favorite show? Like if you look back and say, this show was a banger.
I did a taping in November of my new hour of material, and it was a really great show. We did it in my hometown. So there were 600 people that have been seeing me, for years and years and years, that know me, that have seen my material develop. And to do that power hour of material in front of a hometown crowd was very satisfying. And, funny, I literally at one point was talking to my high school teacher, a woman who had taught me physical science. That was the class I took from her. And I was like, I want you to know, bitch, I never used one thing you told me. I memorized things. I passed the tests. I did what I had to do, but you were useless to me as a human being. Right. And, she talked back to me, and it was a very funny exchange, but it's not every day that a woman who taught me high school physical science is going to be in front of me. And so it was super funny. My PE teacher was at one of the tapings, which was also super funny. I was like, I just want you to know, I can't believe you're here, and that you must be surprised to see me, because I was bleeding every day of my high school career, according to, the notes from my doctor. So I'm sure you're surprised that I made it through with all that hemorrhaging I was doing.
I survived.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here, and I cannot run a mile in less than 12 minutes. So
I will say that it is nice to come full circle and talk to like teachers that that remember you, especially because I think they teach so many kids, decades of children, right?
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with my kindergarten teacher,
Yeah.
still to this day.
Absolutely.
Shout out, Mr. Gray.
Same thing. Same here.
Miss Lacrosse, my first grade teacher.
Yes.
Same.
Yes,
and so
absolutely.
it's and then more high school teachers after that. But
And then they like to tell me things I did. I'm like, I didn't do that. They're like, you absolutely did.
You did. I remember that you did. It's
one of my teachers was like, you stood up in class one day and did an entire Whoopi Goldberg routine for the class. And I was like, I did? And she was like, you absolutely did. And I was like, I couldn't have said all the things Whoopi Goldberg said. She goes, no, you did. You made me
every word.
You made me say that it was okay for you to say these things, and I did. And it was a rainy day, and instead of getting out the projector, I got out you, and so you did your routine for the whole class. And I was like, wow, you're a brave woman. What a brave soul you are. So
I love that.
yeah.
What's next? Like you have your special. Is the special out yet?
No, it is not. It's
Okay.
actually being edited right now, which is its own hell, right? Like I am so sick of looking at my own face, because I have to, he's like, he does a cut of it, and he's like, okay, so I have to watch it, and then I have to be like, change this, move this. I want to see more of the front of me here. It needs to go to the audience member on this part, right? Like all of the things.
Yeah.
And I have to say that because I don't trust anyone else to do it. And so it's me watching me I have to take breaks. I'm like, I'm not even funny anymore. I can't look at my face. What is wrong with my nose? Why do I keep looking to the side? Like, you know what I mean? I get sick of myself.
And it's those things that like, even doing this, like I'm so hypercritical when looking back, and I'm like, why did I do that?
I know.
Why did I laugh
And
like
then
that?
I
I'm saying too much.
Oh,
And
that's the worst. That's the worst habit I have.
No one cares.
I know.
And it's like you nitpick all these little things, and then sometimes you nitpick the thing that could have been even better if you left it in, and it's so hard.
I know. And so and we shot 2 different shows. So I shot a Friday night show and a Saturday night show. So I also had to be like, okay, this opening bit was funnier on Friday night, but from here to here it was funnier on Saturday. Ooh, but I said this one line on Friday, and I like the way I said the whole joke on Saturday, but I want this one line that I said on Friday to get snipped. You know what I mean? It really is starting to, at some point you just have to go, you know what? Just leave it. I'll say that live. It's fine, So it's a lot of that. So I'm editing that project to get that up and out into the world. I certainly want to get one of my scripts produced and made. That is a big goal of mine. This year, I really want to get on a late night show. That's a different beast to have a 4 to 5 minute set that is super funny and super compact and concentrated. Because what I do is 90 minutes. I talk for an hour and a half by myself.
Whose late
So,
night show do you want to be on?
I mean, I'd like to get on the Tonight Show. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
I'd like to hit it Fallon style and
Yeah.
really get that going. I wouldn't mind any of them though. I love Jimmy Kimmel. I love Seth Meyers. I mean, I would like to get on a late night show and do Stephen Colbert. That would be a dream. I mean, I just want to get it out there, but I have to craft what that 4 or 5 minutes is. And so I've been working on that a lot, which involves, again, watching a lot of my videos and saying, okay, this I can put this, and this in. Luckily, we live in an age where there are a lot of short clips out on social media, and that's sort of the way people get their stuff out there. And so in editing things down to a minute and a half, I can see, I should put these 3-4 minutes together, and that's what my set should be. It's very funny. It has a beginning, it has a middle, it has an end. It all kind of connects back up on itself, which I always love to do. So I'm working on that, traveling a lot, doing a lot of live things. I have my own podcast that we're about to do a big relaunch of. And so,
Bitchin' Over Biscuits.
Bitchin' Over Biscuits, the Bob podcast, as we call it. And my wife is a baker, so she makes these amazing biscuits for us whenever we film. And
I only have popcorn.
look, the biscuit is the star of the podcast. I'll tell you that right now. People are like, "Will you take pictures of the biscuit you're eating?" I'm like, "Yes," and she has done everything with biscuits. I mean, one morning she made me one that was had fruity pebbles inside the biscuit, and then she made like an icing glaze for the top of it. So it was like a sweet one. She's done big giant. She'll do a cheddar jalapeno biscuit with a sausage patty in the middle of it.
How long do these biscuits like hold up for?
I mean, they last. I eat on them for a couple days.
Okay, so let's do like a biscuit giveaway.
I would love that.
Where maybe we can do one for here. But
Nobody's
I think
upset by
I
that.
think
I mean, I should ask her and make sure she wants to.
It's
do
true.
it. Because really, all I do is eat them, Brian. I don't even help her wash the dishes after.
But I feel like we should do some kind of a biscuit giveaway to kick off your podcast again.
I think so
that's
too.
a great idea.
You know
Throw
what
it up
she
on
makes,
the socials.
dude? You know what she makes that are crushingly good? She makes biscuits that are about the size of a Snapple lid. She calls them Coke bottle biscuits, so they're like the size
holes.
of a Coke cap. Yes, but they're
Donut hole biscuits.
they're little tiny. And then she puts like a little pat of butter on the. Oh my God,
Those are phenomenal.
They're incredible, and they come in a giant pan, so there's a whole. It looks like 100 of them in a pan. I'm like, oh my God, this is.
You're kind of making me want to make some of those and throw them in a smoker.
See,
Like a smoked buttered biscuit. I think just sounds amazing.
Got to get a smoker. This is my dream. When I was just doing shows in Fort Worth, Texas, and I had to get some barbecue while I'm in Texas. And my buddy's like, "Go to Arlington and eat at this place called Hurtado's Barbecue." I'm like, okay. I mean, there's so many. When I just brought it up on Google, I was like, I could just swing a dead cat and hit one of these,
So
and I'm
many
sure
out
it's going to
there.
be great.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, listen to me. Go to Hurtado's. I'm like, okay. So we find Hurtado's. We get over there. They had something called a Texas Twinkie. They take a whole pepper, jalapeno pepper, hollow it out. Then they take a mixture of brisket and pimento cheese, fill it with that, wrap it in bacon, brush that with a brown sugar and jalapeno juice mixture, and put it on the smoker. And it crisps up, and that bacon candies all around that
Sounds
pepper.
amazing.
And then you eat it, and that creamy pimento cheese and the brisket hits you. It is a Texas Twinkie. It was the greatest thing now listen, I paid for that for about a week and a half. Every time I burped, I tasted that pepper. I am of the age where I taste my food for a week after. I had heartburn that would have killed a small horse, but I am here to tell you it was worth it. That's what I said. I was like, thank you, Zegrid. Like this, I cannot get enough antacids into my life, but it was the most phenomenal thing. But when I asked because I had to go back in and be like, what did you do to that text? How did that happen? Because I thought it was fried. And he said, no, we put it on the smoker. And I was like, oh, slow and low, brother, slow and low.
Yep.
I love it.
So this is about you, but I have to make this about me for a moment because I had to
Please
toot my own
do.
horn. I love cooking on the smoker. And so just recently made these balls. And I don't know what they're technically called, but
We'll call them balls. That's fine.
They're Brian's balls. And everyone at the party was eating them. It was great. But no, they're like a country breakfast sausage. So you take that with cream cheese, shredded cheese, chop up some jalapenos. It was I ended up putting some jalapeno truff sauce. I'm not sure if you've had a truff sauce, but it's like truff makes this just amazing sauces, like hot sauces.
Okay.
So truff sauce, some garlic, and then slow cooked some bacon on the smoker ahead of time. Chop that up, put that in there. Make all these, roll them up into a ball.
A sausage ball with bacon in it.
Sausage ball with bacon. Oh, and Bisquick. So the kind of the biscuit kind of addition to it, right? So that kind of holds it all together. So you mix all that up, you make it in little balls, and then you sprinkle it over with some we call it hog heaven, but it's just some pork seasoning. And it's kind of a brown sugar, kind of sweeter, add a little bit of salt. Put those on the smoker. Took about 25 minutes of smoke, and they were so good.
You know what I want is one of those green eggs. That's a smoker, right? The green egg.
Yep.
Oh,
they're great, but I would say
it's a lot of hype. Yeah.
Not that it's hype.
That ain't cheap. You're talking about a $3,000 smoker.
But you're kind of limited to the space a little bit.
Oh, because
So I like the Traeger, the big long Traeger, because there's so many things like a brisket. But you can do the brisket while you're doing other things. You can do so many.
I had a salmon belly done on that green egg, and I was like, oh,
so good.
My God.
So good.
Who decided to do this?
Who decided to turn this into a podcast about food?
Well,
this is great.
I'm actually not a fan of the smoky flavor.
Yeah.
But if something is really smoked, like I don't like when people add smoke to stuff, right? Like liquid smoke.
Yep.
No. But actual smoked things, chef's kiss. So happy.
Absolutely.
So good.
I want you to tell people about what's coming up, how they can find you, share with them how to find Jen Kober, how to watch your content, wherever it is.
Awesome. So if you want to find me, I have a website, jenkober.com, JenKober. It's like sober, but with a K. Here's what I suggest. Take off your pants. Put on something comfortable, a nice eating shirt, something you can get stuff on. Grab a bowl of ice cream and sit down. Check me out. I am all over everything. I am on over 30 episodes of television. I am on one episode of every show you're not watching right now. The Righteous Gemstones, The Mandalorian, Dead to Me, Curb Your Enthusiasm, American Horror Story, AJ and the Queen. I'm just all over TV. I just did an episode of Bookie on HBO Max. I have an upcoming episode of Ted happening on Peacock. Remember about the talking teddy bear? Mm-hmm. So much fun. So check me out all over your TV screen. Every time you watch me, I make 11 cents, which is very important, folks. I'm saving up for a barrette. I got to get this hair out of my face. So please, please, please check me out. Seeing me live on stage the way God intended is the best way to see me. And there are tickets for every show I have scheduled on my website right there at jenkober.com. You can just click the tour button and a list of shows will come up and you can buy tickets. It's a great night out. It is always super fun. I have VIP meet and greets after the shows, so you can buy a t-shirt, you can grab a trucker hat, you can buy a mug, I'll sign it for you, or you can just show me your tits and I'll sign those too. I'm an equal opportunity employer. So come check me out, jenkober.com. I promise your face is going to hurt from laughing. I'm a very funny lady and a very funny human. I'm nice too. I'm a good person. So you're helping someone genuinely get ahead in the world, doing what they love to do by coming and seeing me live. So I hope you will do that.
But with that, we'll be right back.
Being a small business is difficult, and that's why each episode we've chosen to shout out a different small business, and they have no idea that we're doing it. This week, in light of Jen being our guest, we've chosen the Best Stop Supermarket in Scott, Louisiana. And they have some incredible boudin, cracklins, and Cajun food. So if that sounds delicious to you, make sure you check out their website, beststopinscott.com, to order food straight to your door.
Ms. Kober, would
Yes.
you like to play a little game called This or That?
Would love to.
Awesome. And if you're going to go maybe watch one of Jen's shows internationally or domestically, you can go ahead and visit coastlinetravel.com, which is our sponsor for this segment.
Love that.
Visit coastlinetravel.com for all of your travel needs.
I have so
they do
many
everything.
Travel needs. I have
They do.
many
They do.
I got to get the number.
They could do yours.
Look, I'm ready.
Flights, hotels, excursions.
Love that.
They plan dinners. I mean, they do everything.
I love that.
coastlinetravel.com. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, 20 to be exact.
Okay.
Some of them are going to just be fun and willy-nilly. And then towards the end, they get a little more serious.
All right.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's have some fun. I asked this question to every single one of my guests, only because I want to get their take. Just this first question, though. Everything else is mixed up.
Okay.
Tacos or pizza?
Tacos.
Tacos. That's my go-to as well. You're going on a road trip. You want to be the driver or the passenger?
I, in my heart, want to be the driver, but it's better if I'm the passenger because I am checking my phone the whole time I'm in a car. And if I'm driving, you're just going to hate me because we're going to be swerving. So I'm a better passenger, but in my heart, I want to be driving.
I'm a driver. So cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs. What kind of dog?
I have a white lab. She is the love of my life. Her name is Blueberry. She is the sweetest dog that God ever gave breath to. She was born 2 hours after my grandma passed away. And so my grandma used to always say when she was alive, I'm coming back as one of your dogs because you treat those dogs like goddamn people. So when my grandmother died and then this dog was born 2 hours later, and if you look in this dog's eyes, you can see my grandma. I'm telling you, this dog is my grandma reincarnated. So I'm always very, very sweet to her. Anytime I'm crying or upset, she comes and tatas me. I love this dog more than life. I love her.
Hearing your Nana voice in person, it's so much better. Nerf guns or paintball guns?
Nerf guns.
Keep it safe.
Yeah.
They're so much fun, though.
Paint guns hurt.
They
I
do.
went and did that one time and I was like, excuse me, that stung a little bit.
Who is screaming for attention more? Lifted truck owners or cyber truck owners?
Cybertruck owners. That is the ugly. That looks like somebody drew a car with an etch-a-sketch. That is the dumbest looking. Every time I was just watching the Kardashians because that's my like guilty pleasure, and the Kim drives up in a Cybertruck. I'm like, I can't anymore.
My friend said that it looks like a DeLorean on steroids.
Yes,
Yeah.
but a DeLorean was still way cooler.
Yeah,
Ugh,
I mean,
those
Doc and
trucks.
Marty made it pretty cool. You can
Exactly.
probably describe this way better than anyone else. Creole or Cajun?
I will go Creole is my go-to. There's a flavor difference. Cajun food is very salty and spicy, and Creole food feels more homey to me. It feels more, there's a gravy in everything Creole, which makes me very happy.
Most people wouldn't know the difference. So
Yeah.
thank you for explaining that.
You're welcome.
I didn't know. Karaoke bar. Are you singing or are you staying in your seat?
Singing. And I sing Private Dancer by Tina Turner, and I pull a guy up there with me and I dance all over him while I sing it. Fantastic.
My go-to song
You're going to get a motorboat.
Ooh. Let's go. And no discrimination either.
And what's your go-to song?
500 miles, like the what is it?
I would
walk 500 miles, but it's by the
mi-
Proclaimers, but there's a name for it, like I'm Gonna Be.
Oh, okay.
I always just say, hey, do you got the 500 Mile song by the Proclaimers? And they're like, yeah.
exactly.
My wife, God bless her, she cannot hold a pitch. And so she just runs around and with the microphone to everyone and she's the party. Like
she's the hype man.
And I'm singing
I like
it.
that.
We had a blast on our honeymoon singing that song. So
I
that's
love
always
that.
our go-to.
That's sweet.
Pool table or ping pong table?
Oh, I'm a lesbian. I'm supposed to like pool, but I don't. I like the ping pong, and I'm real good at the ping pong. So.
We should play.
Yeah, look, I'm down.
I love it. Window or aisle?
I'm a window girl because I like to lean against it to sleep. But my wife is a window girl, so I always end up in the middle seat because whenever we book planes, I book her the window and I book myself the aisle, hoping that no one will come and sit between us. But somebody always comes and sits between us. So I'm like, you know what? You take the aisle. I'll sit in the middle, and that way I can snuggle and I use her as the window.
Yeah, I'm a window person because I like to sleep as well. But every single time when I get flights booked for me,
Yeah.
it's always aisle, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why? I
Yeah.
don't want the aisle. Fight a shark or fight a bear?
Fight a bear. Fight a bear. I do not enjoy sharks. I saw Jaws when I was very young, and
That'll do it.
Cannot do. Nope. Nothing. If you said the word shark, you would watch this fat bitch run faster than I've ever run. Out of the water, on the water, I would be gone. So, not my thing.
Would you rather be casted in a movie or a TV show?
Oh, that's so hard. I've done so much TV. I think I have to say movie because I like movies are slower, right? So when you're shooting a TV show, you're shooting conceivably several episodes in a short period of time. And so even though there is a lot of hurry up and wait on both, it's a lot more work on a TV show. So I think I'd say movie. Yeah.
I was just about to say that this is when it starts getting more serious. And then this question comes, which came first, the chicken or the egg?
The chicken. The actuality precedes potentiality. You have to have an actual chicken to have a potential chicken. So the chicken had to come first.
Toilet paper, we going over or under?
Over. Under is for monsters. What kind of a monster are you?
I think people say, what is it, mullet or something else? I don't know. Mullet, though. Got to go over.
Yeah, over.
Better news outlet, TikTok or Facebook?
TikTok.
Like the TikTok.
I like the TikTok. I like that. I actually get a lot of news from independent content creators on TikTok that are, telling. I feel like on TikTok there's also a lot of conspiracy theorists, and I love a good conspiracy. I mean, tell me we did it. Tell me it was an inside job. I'm all about it.
And you like it once, and it just continues. Like more and more come. It's like
yes. Once that gets in your algorithm, yes, you're done. You're done. And Facebook, I feel like I'm gonna get canceled for saying this, but I feel like Facebook is for older people. And the young people on the TikTok, right? They got skin in the game. They're worried about what's going on. And so they're very right about but you also have to take it all with a grain of salt. I mean, it's like Fox News. It's for entertainment purposes, not facts.
I like to say that Facebook is for family.
Oh, that's better.
It's how I connect with them. It's the only reason I use it too.
To connect with your family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a character in South Park or Family Guy?
Family Guy. I just did Ted with Seth MacFarlane, and what a genius. I mean, this guy, watching him work and being around him while he works and taking direction from him and just seeing how his mind works was fascinating to me. I had seen him when I was a kid. I did a lot of voiceovers when I first moved out here. And Linda LaMontagne, who did all the casting for Family Guy, called me into her office to read for some parts. And while I'm in the waiting room, there's a window, and Seth MacFarlane walks into the sound booth. It was a window to the recording studio. And he walks in, and I watched him record an argument between Stewie and Peter. And he's doing both of them. It was the biggest mind fuck. I was like, this is the most genius thing I've ever seen. And she's like, okay, we're ready for you. I'm like, you got to wait. I'm watching the show. This is a thing. I'm never going to see this again. And she laughed, and we sat there and watched him work for probably 20 or 30 minutes. And I was, I was so inspired. And so like, yes. I love doing voiceovers. I love doing cartoon stuff. So I want to get more of that going on too.
Well, completely unrelated, except for the fact that it's a voiceover. I just recently saw a video with the voices of Bluey.
Ugh.
And just seeing the guy that does the voice of Bluey, it's a trip.
Yeah,
I was not expected to be him.
I met the guy that voices Elmo, and it's a big black guy who does Elmo. And I was like, you're my new best friend. I only want to hang out with you. Mm-hmm. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I love that. I love when you...
Well, Bart Simpson's female.
Yes,
so,
always.
Go figure.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of one of these movies. Half Baked or Up in Smoke?
Up in Smoke.
Getting rid of it.
I love Half Baked.
Dave Chappelle. Incredible.
I've seen Up in Smoke and I laughed, but I think that was probably funnier because there wasn't a Half Baked. In Half Baked, when he feeds all that food to the horse and the horse dies and the
butter
cop
stuff.
Comes up, man down, officer down. I am dying laughing Fuck you, you're cool. Fuck you, I'm out. I love that movie. And
The horse is a diabetic.
It's oh my
So
god,
good. So good.
Such a great
And
movie.
Jim Brewer, the fact that he just looks the part.
He looks stoned all the time, no matter what. It just kills me. I could watch that movie over and over, and I have.
Yeah.
I watched that movie a lot. So while Up in Smoke, I get it, is a classic. And I did a show with Tommy Chong, and what a great guy. But that Half-Baked kills me to this day.
I knew some questions were going to get more serious in here.
Okay.
Would you rather play the Hollywood Improv or the Comedy Cellar?
Oh man,
Let's just even make it more.
I've played the Hollywood Improv, so I have to say the Comedy Cellar because I've never done a show at the Comedy Cellar, and I love New York crowds. I mean, New York crowds are so comedy centric, like they get everything, and they're so So I mean, I would say Comedy Cellar, though I adore the Hollywood Improv. If I'm performing in Los Angeles, the Hollywood Improv is one of my top choices for sure. So
it's a safe answer. You said both, technically. So we're good with it. Would you rather open for George Carlin or Robin Williams?
I would have to say George Carlin. I love Robin Williams. I think he's a brilliant actor, but his stand-up was hard to follow, and he sort of had a little reputation with other comedians for stealing jokes. So, and George Carlin, God, the way his mind worked. And I've seen both of them. I mean, not lately, but I saw both of them do stand up when they were alive. And
how do you have that kind of access?
I know. It was all happening while on a mushroom trip. But they were both brilliant. But George Carlin connects things in a way that just, oh God, you know what I mean? Because there's a message, because there's truth, because there's actuality behind it. And while Robin Williams is very entertaining because, my God, it's like watching a monkey on the back ride a horse on cocaine, like through a rainforest. Like, it's insanity to watch the man perform and to be able to follow it and to get why he's being funny. But George Carlin is doing something that I aspire to do, which is to sort of enlighten people with humor. So, yeah.
I love that. Great answer. Play a sold-out arena. The Forum or Madison Square Garden?
Madison Square Garden.
New York crowds again, but it's also the place. It's so
well,
iconic.
But it's so. I have to be honest. I really, while I would want that experience to have that experience, I prefer a small room. There was a room I did all last summer in Santa Monica. It was 50 seats. 50 seats. And I mean, when you got 50 people in there, they were packed in like little sardines, and you were hot and everything else. But to have that room like electrify with laughter, like you could feel the vibration coming off of it, was so satisfying and such, to me, a better setup, especially because my stand-up is so storytelling oriented. And so I like a smaller, more intimate room. Though, if you said we booked you at the Madison Square Garden, I'm not going to be like, no. I mean, of course, I want that experience. But I prefer it something more intimate.
Yeah. I think we have a bunch of like vision board things we need to add after this podcast.
Absolutely. I know. I feel like I need to go home and get my glue stick out. This has got to happen.
This is the most important question.
Okay.
What goes on a baked potato? Butter or aluminum foil?
I mean, this is chicken and the egg. You got to have the aluminum foil before you can have the butter. That's the way it works. So, when that's from a story that I tell.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I love your Nana. And
Nana, I don't think I've ever been as surprised. The setup is that we were watching the Family Feud, and the families are tied. The top 3 answers are on the board. Name something you put on a baked potato. And my Nana stands up in her living room and screams at the television, aluminum foil. And while she was not wrong, right, you do put an aluminum foil on a baked potato. Actually, you put aluminum foil on a potato in order to bake it, but I get what she meant. When the number one answer was butter, she got pissed. She literally, and then, answers 2 and 3 were sour cream and chives. And that's when she lost her shit. She was like, I have been making baked potatoes, Jennifer, since 1952. I've made them without butter. I've made them without sour cream. I'm not entirely sure what the fuck a chive even is, but I will tell you what, I have never in my life made a baked potato without any goddamn aluminum foil. And then she turned the TV off and went to bed. And that was, she wanted nothing to do with anybody else in that house for the rest of the evening. She was mad. And so I get it. I've often been mad at Family Feud answers myself.
Well, our producer Craig is like moving around in his seat, and I know he wants to laugh out loud right now, so I just see it in the corner of my eye. Jen, you are amazing, and I love hearing your bits. It's just So if you have the opportunity, please go see this woman live. Go check out her stuff; it's incredible. Thanks for playing This or That. I hope you had fun with that.
That was super fun.
Yeah. Again, coastline travel. Whether you're going to Dallas for biscuits or barbecue, or you're going to Louisiana for
some Creole Cajun,
Nana's baked potatoes.
It's all good.
Creole or Cajun, yeah. Make sure you go to coastlinetravel.com for all your travel needs. And with that, we'll be right back.
Promoting your podcast is hard, and that's why each week we've decided to bring attention to a different podcast we feel that you'll enjoy. And this week, with Jen Kober being our guest on the episode, we wanted to shout out her podcast, Bitchin Over Biscuits. This is just a really fun, lighthearted time, and believe me, you're going to laugh your butt off. So go check out their podcast, Bitchin Over Biscuits.
That was so much fun.
Thank you. I'm enjoying myself. This has been, I like that you've done like prep stuff. Like, I love that. You had this or that questions, right? Like, I do so many of these podcasts, and so many of these guys are like winging it. Like, and you're like, really, dude? You couldn't have looked me up one time before I got here? You couldn't have written down one question, one idea. Okay, I get it. I see what's happening.
I get a little bit more of an inside track because I have talked to you for the last 3 years.
Yes.
Via Instagram, via the gram.
On the IG.
On the IG. And So I'm so invested in you as I want to see you succeed even more than you already have.
I love that.
I want you to be a household name.
Thank you. As do I.
I mean, I think you got up to 10,000 followers on Instagram finally.
Almost.
You're sure?
Almost there. I'm almost at like 9,593 today. I know.
All right. Well,
look, I'm working on
get a little
hard.
call to action, everyone. Let's go. Let's hit that.
At Jen Kober.
Let's go to that 5-figure mark.
I know. I got to get it going. Meanwhile, my brother, who like buys exotic fancy cars and flips them, has like 67,000 followers. I'm like, what the hell is happening in the world? Like, he's like, maybe I'll tell my people to follow you. I'm like, you're such a dick.
Get out of here. I don't need your help.
I know, douche.
You petty. You petty Betty. So I gave you a task.
Yes.
I said, go on to Momi 2.
Yes.
Which is also great because you've gotten to see the transition of like where we started with kind of our beta launch to when we relaunched, and we went from like 3,000 movies to now we have over 10,000 titles.
I mean, a lot more.
You had to work through quite a few pages to find this little gem that is on Momi 2.
Yes.
Something that a lot of people don't know, that the star in this film.
Well, let me say this.
Made.
When you told me we were going to have to watch something, I was like, okay, it's got to be a comedy.
100%.
And you sent me 3 trailers to look at.
Just wanted to get you down the rabbit hole.
And I watched the trailers, and each one of the trailers, I was like, this is on this channel. Like, I was amazed that you had all 3 of these titles, to be honest. And I was like, okay. And I picked Private Eye because the star is Matt Rife, who...
Some people know who he is.
Yes. And I will say this. I think he is adorable as a person. His comedy does not do that much for me. But because he's so wildly popular, I keep thinking to myself, how is he this wildly There's a lot of sizzle to me and not a lot of steak. So I thought, you know what it must be? It must be that he's so adorable and so cute that they're like priming him to give him a rom-com career. Like he's going to be the cute, good-looking guy in all of these rom-coms. So when he was in this movie, I thought, oh, let me see him act. Let me see what he does. So I wanted to see it. Plus, in the trailer, Eric Griffin is in the trailer with him, and he's one of my dear friends. I love this kid. I cannot spend enough time with Eric Griffin. And I haven't seen him in years, but every time I see him pop up on my TV, I love him. And he directed the Crowdwork special that Matt Rife just put out with Netflix. Oh. So I was very interested to see the movie. And it was really, I mean, I was impressed that you have a movie like this on you're not, I don't know that I thought you were going to get a lot of titles because there's so many platforms, and you're killing it, dude. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Appreciate that. And again, it's a whole team of us. But I love taking the credit. Thank you. It makes me feel nice and warm and fuzzy inside. But yeah, we put a lot of work and effort into it. And the thing that we have is, obviously you're seeing a lot of names, and so you mentioned a lot of great names there, but the one thing that we have is a lot of independent gems, like these hidden gems that people don't know they're there.
And this is that. This movie called The Private Eye is very independently done. Mm-hmm. I think they shot this in this guy's apartment.
They made it during COVID.
Okay. Oh, see, that makes a lot. The whole time it was going on, I was like, this guy they're shooting in his house.
Like, how are certain actors not interacting with each other? Yes. It's because they couldn't.
Oh, I
so
see
that's
what's
that's a piece of it. But in case the listeners haven't even heard of this film or seen it yet,
I hadn't.
Why don't we just go ahead and cue the trailer?
Done.
What are you supposed to be?
Their name is Mort. I'm a private eye. Hey! Sorry, kid. Official detective business. Bruh! I have been broke for a very long time.
Good God, this place is a pigsty.
Okay, did you come here just to insult me, or do you have a case?
Yeah, I have a case for you. I need you to take care of someone for me.
I need the money. So roughing up your boyfriend, whoever it is gonna get me that money, I'll do it.
All right, man. It's gonna be,
No, I'm not getting on yet.
Yeah? We casing the joint?
Oh, okay, we just put the gun down.
Okay, you need help putting him in the trunk? I already cocked it. I gotta shoot somebody.
Yeah.
We need to talk. I'm calling the whole thing off. It's a bad idea you keeping your eye on me.
You can't do that. I'm being paid to ruffle your feathers, David.
God! What did you say to him?
I didn't tell him about everything. I just told him that I'm calling off the case. I'm done.
Michelle! I fell in love with a client of mine. Michelle! But she left, and I'm gonna get her back.
Man, that is beautiful.
Goodbye, David.
She's gone, Mort. You ruined her life.
God damn it!
Hey, what the hell happened to you? Is this dude right here?
No, he's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
You going to get the girl? I'll help you get the girl.
That's not gonna be necessary.
We can still put him in the trunk. A lot of space in the trunk.
Tell me what are your initial thoughts? What's your initial?
So I thought it moved slowly at first. I was like, why is it going back and forth? I was confused about why the voiceover clearly wasn't him. I'm like, why isn't he? Because that's the way film noir is done. Like they're clearly trying to do some play off of the film noir genre. Yeah. So I thought, well, I mean, it needs. Plus, he's got such a cute little voice, like his little lilt. He's very charming. He's very, very well spoken. I thought he should be doing this voiceover. Who is it? Then I got in my head about like, who is this voice? I know this voice. Why am I not putting it? Then I was like, just watch, just like let all that go and watch. And as I'm watching, things are happening, but I'm still not putting it together. I'm not, they were clearly trying to develop his character and who he was, right? Establish that he's this sort of drunken PI who wants, he clearly had something to do with a big case at one time, but, and in the beginning of the movie, he foils this crime, but I'm not putting it all together. I'm like, I still don't get, and then he gets this case, this woman hires him. And again, you're just not getting a lot of information. Yeah. You're getting sort of the shell of information. And you can tell that there's sexual attraction there, but you're not getting why everything is happening. And then about 11/16 of the way in, it just picks it, the whole thing just is like a locomotive. It's just, we're just heading downhill and it's all coming together and you're putting it together. And I have to say that my wife called what the whole plot twist was right in the middle.
for her.
Because I was like,
I
I don't
see it
get it.
coming.
I didn't either.
No.
I'm like, why aren't they? Because I'm a script writer. So I'm like, we're already 30 minutes in. Why do I not know what the case is and what the mystery is? And then she goes, well, look at this, right? I know whether
no spoilers, no major spoilers.
She's like, think about this, look at this, see what this, and I was like, oh, and I still didn't think that was it. I was like, no, and then sure enough, that's what it was. And I was like, I'll be goddamn. This woman picked this. She's a witch like that. She does that kind of, that magic voodoo
She's
shit.
a witch. Burn her.
Exactly. She does shit like that and just will figure out the whole thing like minute 12. And I'm like, I can't believe you called that. And then there was even more of a twist on it. And I was like, oh, I get it. I get the whole thing. And I love when the end of it, turns on a dime and the whole thing was,
everything comes full circle and you're
yes.
like, wow.
Right. Like it was,
and it is a slow moving film. I will say
it's a slow burn,
and it's a slow 2-hour film. So it's like, you got to be invested.
Yes.
And invested and be patient. I think with this because of how it was shot and hats off to Jack Cook. I want to make sure I get that name right. Cause I think Jack Cook has a middle name too, but he's known as Jack Cook on IMDb. So I'll stay with Jack Cook.
Right.
But so I think he did a phenomenal job with the circumstances. Like when I watched it, I was like, okay, it's a film noir, comedy mixed in. Okay, I'm seeing where it's artistic. I'm getting it. Until I did a little bit more research to understand when it was made. When it was made during COVID, I was like, oh, that's why he made the choices he made as a director. And I got it. It made sense because
just
he had
you
to.
saying that now made a lot of things click for me because I was like, why did he? What's the point of that shot? I don't even. And then now that you're saying it was COVID, I'm like, oh, he was trying to. And when you figure out what the twist is, you also figure out like, oh, he's trying to set up a vibe that.
Yep.
Knowing the twist, if I went back and watched the beginning of it, I'd be like, oh, well, that's why he was doing this, and this, But at the time, without the information, you're like, this is moving so slow. But you stick with it because Matt Rife is very watchable. He's very personable. I thought there were a couple of music choices that I really liked that kind of got me into it more. There's just not a lot of the movie falls on him, and thank God he is so watchable and personable and
well,
charming.
and then when I looked up the budget, what
was the budget?
It made sense
because they spent it all on the big name, and
it was only made for $1 million.
Wow!
Because it was made during COVID, they wanted work. People just wanted to do stuff.
Totally
makes sense.
To have gotten who they got, I thought.
Well, then let me run through that. And I have a
role.
little cheat sheet here just because I don't want to forget anyone's names. But we got Matt Rife, Claire Grant, who plays the lead female, Denzel Whitaker, right? Eric Roberts, and then you have Eric Griffin, right?
Yes.
So you have some pretty big names in just the 5 billings there. And then there's some more on top of that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how did they get all these people for $1 million? And then I was like, COVID. I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense.
But still, to have made anything while COVID was going on was so
very difficult.
I was shooting American Horror Story during COVID, and it was a nightmare. It was a flipping nightmare. It was before anybody got a vaccine. We were all literally wearing masks and then face masks, face coverings, right? Like the hazmat plastic shield thing over that. And you would do the rehearsal behind the plastic screen, and then when they would yell action, you would take the plastic screen off. And then literally the minute you had to start speaking or the camera was going on to you, that's when you took off your mask. And they were testing us every 5 minutes and swabbing us. And I had more Q-tips shoved up my nose and hit my brain than, it triggered some memories. I remembered where I put some stuff, but it was very, very difficult to run a set like that. And this was Paramount, right? We were at Universal, we were getting stuff done, and it was it was difficult to do. So to do it on an independent movie set, I really applaud them for that. I didn't realize that's how that went down.
Yeah, no, I think they did a really good job, and I think that the choices of even coloring, like using the black and white with the foreshadowing.
And see, I wasn't getting that part either. I was like, why does it keep flipping? I knew it meant something, right? I knew that the black and white. I thought, okay, that's just when he's dreaming.
Yeah.
Okay, right? And so, but that wasn't it either, really. And so when it all comes around, and it comes around so clearly.
Yes, it does.
That I was like, oh,
it's
okay.
worth the wait. Like you need to finish this.
Yes.
Set aside 2 hours and do it.
And I think that the frustration that you build thinking like, what is going on, helps when you finally figure it out. You're like, oh, I get it. They had to build all that up so that the payoff would be more satisfying, so that I would get it so very clearly when I got it. So I was like, oh, okay, now it all makes sense.
Who would you say?
Good job, Jack Cook.
Absolutely, very well done. Who would you say your favorite character was?
I mean, I loved Eric Griffin.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a short piece too, but it's so good.
He was super funny in it. I love that. I mean, of course, I dig Matt Rife, but the kid that played David, I thought was also very funny. Very.
He has a single name too. I think his name like Damien or something. He has
it would start with an E. I remember seeing it on the screen and being like that. Elliot.
There you go. It's only a single name. There's no.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Elliot. So I thought he was very genuine, right? I like.
He was one of the producers too.
Okay, and that was that was the other thing I noticed. That was a long ass list of producers. I was
so many.
It takes a village to make a movie. Like you don't realize how much goes into that. The first movie I ever did, I don't think I realized that every single shot was its own, right? Like you do the whole scene as a wide shot. You do the whole scene with the camera out here. Then we move in 6 feet. And now we do the whole scene again. And then we start doing turnarounds and whatever. Like when I saw that firsthand by being on a movie set, and the first movie I did was a kid's movie called Cool Dog. You should get it from Mommy too.
Cool Dog. All right. Well, we don't do kids content.
Well, you should. P.S. Not really for kids. I play a terrible woman. I was like the Cruella de Vil of this movie. But, and I was channeling Shelley Winters from Pete's Dragon the whole time. So and I have a very thick New York accent. It's a very funny movie, but when you are on a movie set and you see all it takes to get all of those different shots, then you watch something like Moulin Rouge and you're like, how the hell did they make that? How did they not go crazy singing those songs over and over, and all of the production value and everything's going on all at once? How you didn't see cameras in that? Like, how are they doing that? And it's so, you forget that I think when you're on the performing side of it, you forget like what goes into making a movie. Like you being an actor is probably the most insignificant part of the movie that there is, even though that's what people see. And so it amazes me what goes into making a film, and to have seen, all the different shots and what they were doing in this one was very interesting to me, because it's not shot like it looks like an independent movie, and that's, and I liked that.
They're not hiding that. Like,
no, right.
This is an indie film, but it all makes sense. And I guess maybe that's why it wasn't as promoted as big as it was. Maybe, I don't know if at the time it was released, maybe Matt Rife hadn't taken off as much.
I was going to say he hadn't really hit yet, but I'm telling you, this movie will get some good traction because of him and because of what he has accomplished now. I mean, this kid was selling out arenas all year. He's been doing that
all over the world.
Yeah.
So hats off to him. And I
shirts off to him.
Shirts off to him. Shirts off to you, Matt. Not off to me, but off to you.
Yeah.
I will say that him as an actor, though, I was really intrigued to see him as an actor, and I think he did a really, really well done job.
I would love
a very good job.
I would love to see him play the cutie, sort of shy boy, right? Like he's an Ashton Kutcher type. Like he's that sort of chiseled, that good looking. If you got him a good haircut, the sky's the limit for this kid. I mean, I think that's his wheelhouse, very much in his wheelhouse.
He could play the Manny.
Sort of, yes, yep. Yes. He's got a look like that kid that
from This Is Us.
Guy from This Is Us. Yeah. He could. I mean, easily, right? Like he's got there's a Steve Gutenberg vibe to him too. He seems very approachable while still being that good looking, right?
Yeah.
So it's.
But it's always intriguing to me to see how does a comedian do as an actor, because it doesn't always translate.
It does not translate.
And so
always.
I think
it doesn't translate probably 88% of the time. Like
Yeah.
I think unless you're playing yourself.
But that's why I think you loved Eric Griffin so much, is because he played this one singular role and it's such a
Yes.
small piece of the film, but he crushed it. And
Yeah.
I think when I see comedians as like a lead, it doesn't always translate.
Yes. I mean, look, we were just talking about Robin Williams. I mean,
Yeah.
that guy can act. He's
100%.
but he was trained in that. He was trained as an actor, and stand-up was sort of an offshoot of what he did, you know? And that's what I did. I got trained as an actor, and I've always done stand-up. It's an art form I enjoy. I like relying on myself. I think comedy is a writer's medium.
Yeah.
And I've always been writing and things like that. So, but it doesn't always translate. I've seen plenty of comedians get into something and be like, no, that's not it. That's not it. That's hard. And I know plenty of comedians that are like, my agent keeps trying to get me to audition for stuff, and it's painful. I don't want to do it. You
Yeah.
know, it's not what I like doing. And then you see somebody like Wanda Sykes, who's incredibly funny as a comedian and incredibly funny in all of the movies we've seen her in. So, you know, it kind of depends on what your vibe is. If you can make you translate into other people, and not everybody can do it.
For sure. Well, Matt, not that you need my approval, but well done, bro. Well done. And you made Ohio proud. Shout out to all the actors from Ohio, all the filmmakers and actors in Ohio. Who's going to love this film?
I think this film is for certainly Matt Rife fans. I mean, and that those sort of run the gamut of everybody. If you're into the indie movie scene, I think it's a very interesting take on a genre that is not. I mean, we don't see a lot of film noir now.
True.
It's just not a thing that's sort of made it. I think that because sort of true crime has there's an element of that in it, and so I think that's very interesting to see. So I think true crime fans would have an interest in it, but it's not any one thing. I think that's what's so great about it, and I think that's why it will do well with a lot of different people, because it's not like it's a Western, and if you don't like Westerns, you won't like, you know what I mean? It's got this twist in the end that sort of is so interesting that I think anybody could get into it and find value in what it was.
Very true. And I'm really proud of the moment in the very beginning that Matt Rife is there with Denzel Whitaker, and they start talking about the physical media, and
Right.
then he mentions Netflix.
I know.
Matt, you should have said "Mow Me Too," but it was so great to see that. I love that moment, because we've talked a lot about "Mow Me Too" being kind of that blockbuster for people, that nostalgia, you know, going through and finding stuff that you never knew existed and you never knew you loved. And so I'm glad that you picked The Private Eye. For those that are listening, if you go to search for it on Mow Me Too, make sure you just type in Private Eye, because for some reason our search function doesn't like the word "the."
Look, and can I say this? I'm usually also not a fan of ads being in my movies, but I kept seeing that Verizon ad over and over, and my buddy Ralph Barbosa, who's a comedian, is in that ad.
So
and when I
cool.
saw him, I was like, "Oh, that's Ralph Barbosa! Oh my God, this ad is getting so much play." I loved seeing it. Every time he would come on, I'd be like, "That's my buddy Ralph.
We try not to overserve certain ads all the time. It depending on where you're watching
Look,
from.
you
It can
had some big. I mean, Starbucks was an advertiser on there. I was like,
Yeah.
look at my boy getting Starbucks
Yeah,
money. Okay,
Starbucks,
like I
we
was
got some progressive money recently,
yes,
which
I
is
was-
awesome. So
I was really, it really did make me go, oh my God, Brian really did this. Like Brian really launched something huge, and I was
Thank
very
you.
proud of you in that moment, man.
our team did such an incredible job.
They did. I love that. Yeah, and I love that you keep giving
and
credit
by
to
our
this
team, I mean me. So thank you thank you, big guy. No,
You
we have an incredible
did
team, and
good.
so but no, I really appreciate you just seeing the
Yeah.
growth, and it's great that you've been a part of it since day one, like literally day one.
Yeah.
in our Momi
That
2
was
shirt.
a killer launch party, by the way.
So
I
much
still
fun.
talk about that launch party. I'm like, dude, there was a whole
Yeah.
station of nothing but these little steam buns. Oh my God, they were so good.
If you're looking and are interested about this party that she's talking about, go to our YouTube page, which may be where you're watching this anyways. Scroll down to our videos, our Momi 2 videos, and we have a little video we made
Of the launch
of
party.
the launch party. It
Yeah.
shows all the different highlights. It shows you on stage.
I know, I watched
shows the
it, you know.
DJs. It
It's
shows
great.
It shows all the stuff. It shows the TVs we gave away to
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot all
to
of that.
Mackenzie and Cheryl Kay.
Yeah.
And we had so many different stations. We had a
That was a fun
what's it
party.
called? The nitrogen, like the
oxygen bar.
no the where they do the ice cream.
Oh, yeah, liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen,
Oh, that
yeah.
was
So the liquid
great. That was
nitrogen. We
great.
had a fruit bar, a taco bar, a sushi.
There was so much stuff, cool stuff at that party. Like I go to a lot of, not that I go to a lot of parties, but I go to a lot of like those sort of, oh, the studio is throwing a party for the like rap parties for big Hollywood productions or whatever. And honey, you were top 3. You
Wow.
were really
Wow.
top 3.
That's all testament to Debbie and to
Love Debbie.
and to Someone's in the Kitchen, the caterer who did all the
Yes.
food options were from Someone's in the Kitchen. An incredible job.
Such a great job.
So much fun. And the only way that I made it through the actual event was because of the Calafino tequila. So shout out to
yes.
Calafino for
Yes, I
sponsoring
remember
and
that.
being
That
our
was
tequila
great.
sponsor, because we made the yellow Momi 2 cocktails.
Uh-huh.
And I was so nervous when we were giving that speech. And so the
Oh,
only way I
a
made
little
it
liquid
through,
courage goes a long way.
it had to.
And Debbie was so proud of you, like so proud of you that night. Like she just kept leaning over and being like he believed in this. He really did this. He really like dug in and made this happen. And I was like, I see it. Like I could see the passion in you about the project and about the
Yeah.
platform, and the idea that you had was so original, and the fact that I've seen it, just expand exponentially into this, so much content, so much great content, like you said, stuff that you're not going to see anywhere else. And it's really fun, especially because after the pandemic and things like that, I feel like I got to the end of Netflix. Like, I'm like, is there anything else to watch? I feel like I watched it all. And then to go onto your platform and see so many things that I didn't know what they were.
Mm-hmm.
And the captions are there, the trailers are there. Check it out. Go explore, like discover something that you haven't seen before. And
if you're not sure what to watch, we have a cool section called the Momi 2 Movie of the Week,
Nice.
which The Private Eye was one recently.
I like that.
And you can go on there every single week. We drop a new movie that we're just trying to highlight and showcase. We have a girl her name is Sierra Nowak. She'll be a guest on the podcast here soon as well. And she just does a great job of showcasing these films for us. We have an influencer from TikTok, actually, the TikTok.
Love that.
His name is Harry. Harry Marks also goes by Let's All Go to the Lobby or Lobby Intros.
Right.
And he
Nice.
does these like 3-minute historian kind of a TCM intro.
Right.
Robert Osborne-esque intros for these classic
love
films, because we
that.
have a whole mess of classic films too, which is
Yeah.
so great to
Yeah.
get down a rabbit hole all the way back to the original Nosferatu.
Yes.
I mean, we have a whole centuries worth
classic
of
stuff. Classic stuff. I mean, it's impressive what you've done, and
Thank
I hope
you.
that you take time to sit back and go, I did this. This was my idea, and I put in. I mean, not just
Yeah.
you. I know there was a team, but
Well,
that
as
you,
Kobe Bryant says, job's not done.
Yeah. No, and I get it. It's fashion. It's like fashion. It's never done.
Yep.
You have to, it has to keep evolving. That's just the nature of the beast. But you're doing it, man. You have.
Thank you.
You've really evolved and developed into somthing special. So,
And I appreciate
congratulations.
you noticed that, and I appreciate you just being here.
Of course.
Thanks for wearing your party pants. Thanks for wearing your goodums. And it's just so great to just be here in person with you. Hopefully, it's not such a long time before the next time we get together.
Let's do this again, and I hope someone's going to airbrush me and make me look as young as I am today.
Oh yeah, we got crazy filters
Vogue
and all that
editors
stuff.
and such. Yes, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, Craig makes it look good. So
Calvin always on
Cliff,
top of-
Pedro, Jen, love you,
Love you too, man.
and I cannot wait to see the rest of what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending your time with us today on the More For Me and You podcast. If you've made it to the end, we appreciate you. Now, go do us a quick favor. Please like, comment, and share this episode. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode with the incredible guests we have coming up. You can also follow us at Momi2 Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. Oh, and for your next movie night, check out the Momi2 app. It's free and packed with amazing movies and shows you've probably never seen. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you in the pod.